So with Past Life ending, I decided why not rank all of the Life series. It's not like a traditional tier list, so the worst Life series will be here and the best will be here, so we'll work our way up and get less bad as we go up. Anyways, let's get straight into it with putting the April Fool's ones and not ranking. I watched Real Life, I haven't actually watched Simple Life yet, which I just forgot to, bro. That is really bad. I should probably get to that after this video, but anyways, in last place, we've got Double Life. Just because Double Life's in last place does not mean it's bad. Like, it's still, for most Minecraft series, above average, I would say. It's just, Third Life, it just felt like, Last Life felt like it was developing the idea of Third Life, and then Double Life completely does like a 180. It was such like a big jump. On paper, the concept does sound interesting, but it really doesn't work as well as it does on paper, which sucks. And, you know, obviously, I assume it's all just jokes, but there actually felt like there was tension between the players, like, and obviously, I know there probably wasn't, but it just wasn't fun to watch. Like, it was a bit, you know, yeah, with some players, there felt like there was actually stuff going on there, you know. Maybe that was just me overthinking, but yeah, it wasn't fun to watch, you know, other players interact with other players, and players rarely did interact with other players because they had their soulmate to just interact with solely with. And also, it felt underwhelming if, you know, let's say you watch Grian and Scar dies, then, you know, it's going to be underwhelming because Green's lost a life and it wasn't even his fault, you know what I mean? Obviously, that's not a big issue for me, but I can imagine that being kind of underwhelming for other people. And yeah, it's still not a bad series. It just sort of ruined the flow that Third Life and Last Life had, and its concept wasn't that great. Next up, we've got Limited Life. Now, Limited Life, it's very influential. Like, this series has influenced a ton of other series in like fan-made servers. It's very unique and I do like that aspect. This series had a lot of action with everyone essentially having 24 lives, but this actually didn't really help the series. It just made deaths feel forgettable. They don't really matter. Like someone could get a kill and obviously they gain time from it, but it didn't really feel like anything changed like in the grand scheme of things. But the idea of players ticking down, like you got 2 minutes to get a kill, that's like really tense. I really do like that bit, but it feels like your concept shouldn't have to wait for a concept to get good like towards the end of a series. If a concept for one of these series is good, then it's going to start off good and it's going to, you know, impact the series all the way through, you know. Now, Skynet was cool at first, but it got so boring and repetitive, you know, triple kills with TNT minecarts is impressive, it's cool. There was like no actual raw sword to sword PvP because of it. And then I watched Grian and Joel, and I watched Joel's POV for Limited Life, so I can't relate to this, but I can imagine if you're watching someone and you just see them die out of nowhere from Skynet, they were literally just standing still, minding their own business, and they die, it could be, you know, underwhelming. This series had its moments, it just wasn't as strong as the other ones that we'll get into. Next up, we've got Past Life. Now, this probably is a hot take, because I've seen a lot of people say this is the best series we've had yet, which I just don't agree with. It's definitely, what I will admit, it's definitely the funniest Life series yet. Like, all the players' chemistry was really good. Like, I don't normally, like, laugh out loud at these series, but this was a really funny series. But its concept is by far the weakest here. We've seen like Minecraft YouTubers do this concept of the game upgrading versions. We've seen it done before. It's just done here worse because the concept like doesn't really influence the series much. Like, yeah, for the first couple episodes it was like beta Minecraft, like there was loads of stuff different, but after like 3 or so episodes the game was more or less in the state we have it today, and any differences, they were more like a nuisance to the actual players instead of, you know, changing the viewing experience. Like, the series was pacing out really well. Like, you know, we had some people go out and more people go out. You know, Jimmy killing Pearl. Like, Jimmy killing Pearl was really cool. Like, you know, all of that. But then the last session was so rushed. Like, I feel like at the pace they were going, it could have gone to, like, session 10. But, you know, it just ended at 8. So if it honestly went to session 10, it could maybe go a little bit higher. But I just feel like the pacing was so weird. Like, you know, a final death felt like it felt like it actually meant something, but then in session 8 it just sort of like, okay, let's just kill the rest of these players, you know. This was the first time we've had a repeat of a winner, which I don't know, I was sort of like hoping for. I just wanted to see what that would be like, but we all know Jimmy should have gotten that win, definitely, bro. Anyways, next up we've got Wildlife. Very chaotic, very creative. It has some of the series' coolest moments, like when Joel was like running away from all of like the ghosts. Like that was sick. That's top 5 moments in the whole series. The wildcards did start like pretty underwhelming and nothing too special, but they definitely, you know, like they were intended to. They definitely got more interesting and ramped up as the series went on. It was just a chaotic series. It was a lot of fun. A lot of kills. I like the superpower episode, you know, it's just, there's not a lot to say about it. It was just cool. I do feel like this series had some of like the less, you know, memorable alliances. Like I don't really know many, I don't remember many teams that are in this series, but yeah, there was a lot of, it was very fun to watch with the different, you know, wild cards each episode. Next up, we've got Secret Life in the top 3. Now, the whole concept of secrets, you know, made everyone's POV unique. I do like the idea of like permanent damage with 30 hearts. I think that was really cool. And sort of this series required a different skill set, as opposed to being good at making traps, being good at PvP. It required a different skill set, so players that wouldn't normally place well or do well did better than usual, which I found interesting. I feel like from a content POV, Secret Life is the best because every POV is unique, and then, you know, you're watching just to see where players take damage. You know, it sort of requires you to watch all the way through to get the context that you need. You know, it was a long series, it's tied for the longest. Lots of great PvP, you know, they didn't have Skynet this season, which was good. Anyways, yeah, Secret Life 3rd. Now, next up, I'm going to put Last Life. Now, I probably think objectively Last Life's the best, but just personally for me, I'm going to put it at 2. It's really nostalgic for me. It developed the third life idea like pretty much perfectly. You know, it fixed a lot of negatives. It added a lot of positives. The Boogeyman was like a really cool addition. A lot of memorable teams that, you know, it was years ago. I can still remember them. It's tied with Secret Life for being the longest series with 9 episodes. Its concept was simple, but it managed to have so much chaos with it, which is really impressive. And it's like I said, it's close to number 1, but for me personally, I just think Third Life is a little bit higher than it. I think it's probably my favorite micro series of all time. Like, very nostalgic for me. Every death meant something, you know, even if you died once, you only had 3 lives. There wasn't like a lot you could do about it, so they meant a lot. Green and Skull are moving crazy in this series, bro. Their generational run needs to be studied. It's also crazy how this unscripted server accidentally created like so much lore and poetic like storylines. It's just, there's no script or anything, but it just all panned out so well. So the only bad part about Third Life is that the PvP and chemistry wasn't quite as strong as it is now, obviously because the players weren't as experienced with PvP, weren't as experienced with the life format, weren't as experienced with speaking to each other. So I understand putting something like Last Life above it, but yeah. This series just holds such a special place in my heart for me. Like, I think the Battle of Red Desert is probably the best episode of the live series. I know I've said it a lot, but I've been sort of maybe considering Last Life above it. I just feel like the episodes sometimes were a little bit more entertaining, but yeah. Alright, so this is my final list, guys. What do you think of it? Now, this is the second channel. If this, you know, if you like the live series content, make sure to let me know and I can move it to the main channel. I just did a sort of quick second channel video because, you know, live still unstable universe, you know, you'd be surprised. There's not as much as an overlap with live series as one might think. But yeah, make sure to give me your placements down below. I'll give you my thoughts on them. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed to the second channel, make sure to do that. I mean, to be fair, if you haven't subscribed to the main channel, make sure to do that as well. But yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.